Just the most embarrassing thing in my entire freaking life. All right, let's just talk about what's in this notebook, okay? You know, you want to test an idea. I think the best way to do that is to talk about it. All right, so I have some stuck ideas. I've got yapping in the car for 100 days straight as a YouTube video, as a challenge to myself, showing up on social media for 100 days in a way that's visually repeatable and a way that takes nothing as far as like tech. There's no friction when it comes to gear. So that's yapping in the car for 100 days and just kind of documenting what it's like showing up. You know, consistency, right? Consistency. I feel like I need to lecture myself, you know? Tutorial for the table. So that was the gambling one. Who done it? The gambling one. We got to finish that video and be serious about our development with that channel. So that brings me into the next video idea. So the name of the video is I gave my YouTube channel 100 days to prove me wrong. And it's about getting back on track with your pinball channel. So that pinball channel, you know, we have some tentpole ideas. The primary would be that it would remain a tutorial place, but we need at least 2 new tutorials each month. Now, that's going to be done with something called a paper edit. So we're going to get the audio down and we're going to make sure it all makes sense with some pretty rudimentary editing. And then we're going to edit in the style of quick-ass pinball tutorials after the fact. And like, it's just, it doesn't make sense for me and my family to take all these, you know, months to come out with a new video because I'm procrastinating on how much work I knew it was in the past. Like, I was doing a lot of stuff manually and I wasn't saving presets. So we're going to go back to the latest one. I'm going to get a paper edit in and like, I'm just going to make sure it's not such a commitment where I'm getting burnt out. And that will be one of the tent poles. You know, there's all these tutorials. We can actually go and look over at our numbers here fast too, because I think that's a big part of the story. All right, we're at 2,469 subscribers. Our graph is we've gotten 28 in the last month, about 4,300 views, 154 watch hours in the last month. So we have a steady flow of returning customers and we really need to capitalize on that. We need to build out that channel. And the way you're going to do it is with the Long Ass Pinball podcast. And that's what this framing needs to look like. You know, we need to build out, you know, a 1-hour show, I think, and make it into a pinball show. I think we need to make a pinball show. In between those two things, you'll have media for like more tutorials and stuff. You'll have more places to learn. And, you know, if you're doing a pinball show for an hour, I want to see clips. You know, I want to see how fast you can be a clipper. We're going to practice being a clipper on our own content. And we're going to think about that. You know, like, can I be my own clipper? That could be a YouTube video right there. Can I be my own clipper? I'm 40 years old. All right. So anyway, that's getting the YouTube channel back on track. 100 days to prove me wrong. That's going to be like video essay style. You know, it's going to be a lot of to camera. Like, we'll have to build a production schedule to maintain consistency, and maybe like a show Bible or like a production Bible. But that's that. Now, let's see what else here. Photo idea for the iPhone. That means color grading. Rec 7. I want to do a tutorial on the Sony camera and the settings that I have decided to go for. Yeah, I'd like to do that. Okay. I think it's really cool. You know, I have an ISO auto sort of baseline, and then from there we go and we develop. Let's say like, hey, I can do whatever, and I can. You know, sometimes you just want to shoot fast. Like, the idea is more important than the gear right now. So let's make the gear the most important for the next, like, 8 minutes of this video. And then after that, it's all about the story. Okay? We're editing for Ben Katzner. I want to talk to him about being able to use some of his footage to talk about color grading. We've done our first invoice. I've worked for Ben for 10 hours now, and it seemed to have gone really well. He's had me hired for 10 hours. Okay. Getting off your ass and finishing what you started. I was trying to develop the YouTube channel starting video with these notes, so I'm just going to cross these out. Except for premise, problem, plug, payoff. All right, and then the other one is I want to write 20 stories about my life, and then tell them here. I want to tell stories here. They will be things that I practice. Okay, these are going to be, I'm going to take a storytelling class. Whether that be master class, whether that be the Calvin Allison Risk storytelling group. I worked for them for a number of years, so I should know more about like the rules of storytelling, or maybe it's that I do know a lot and then I haven't practiced it. Maybe that's it. So 20 stories about my life, and that comes from wanting to be on Survivor. I had my 2026 audition that I just put in, and it's okay. I just rant about work. And I sort of, I think about like a through line, and then I overdevelop what I want to say on camera. Probably because I am a perfectionist, I am a storyteller, and I want to desperately matter. That's what AI says, at least, when I feed it all this information. I haven't given up making videos, and we're still like, not really on track. So, I guess that reads a little bit, but just in general, I think that's a problem everybody has, is they feel like an imposter, or they feel cringe and they don't get started, and people that are naive, they might get started and slowly develop into an amazing speaker or whatever, like successful. So anyway, that's it for this, and I'm going to watch this back after lunch. And yeah, thank you so much for watching, Matt. I appreciate you. I think the framing's all right. Maybe if I could just try one more thing framing-wise here. I'm gonna... Like, I haven't done anything with the pan tilt yet, but I'm looking at where our light is, brother man, and I'm just like... Maybe something like that. Puts you in a different place on the desk, because I did pan, but, I have a mark. I can see my head very clearly now in between here. Maybe pan up a little bit, or pan up. Oh my God. Tilt up! All right. Anyway, that's what I was thinking. I think that's cool with the boom and the boom, right? And then if any of these lights are going, let's see. That's teal. Okay, so that's actually the corner. I actually need it to be right here. It's a little more centered, right? No, it's not. Okay, hang on. Over here. What an interesting backlight. But yeah, I could potentially like get up on the camera a little bit. We pan up just a touch. I got my laptop here. I've got my desktop here. I got my mouse right there. Book. 20 stories about my life. All right, that's it.